Hi, I'm Dr. Alicia Armitstead, Healing Arts Wellness Center in New York City. I also work in Connecticut on Fridays. And I wanted to talk to you today about inflammation, what it does to the body, how it builds up in our system, and why it's the number one reason for any and all diseases in your body. And so today I'm also going to have Joy Carbonero connect with us and talk to her as well. She's inflammation. Inflammation is feeling of stiffness. That is a form of inflammation. But when you have like severe headaches or low back pain, then that's definitely a form of inflammation. Any type of pain. Yeah, if you get, scratched or cut, and as that's healing and that throbbing, that's another form of inflammation. Inflammation, we're looking as a inflammation. That as a practitioner, any type of for nutritional issues or um, joint or muscle issues, my first question always is how can we reduce the inflammation in this patient? Could be stretches, exercises, adjustments, or eating better, drinking more water can definitely help the body. Let me see if we can get Joy in here. I apologize. I'm accepting the invitation. Oh, there she is.
Hi.
Okay, can you hear
I
me?
can hear you.
Hi.
How are you, Dr.
Okay.
Armitstead?
And so, how are you this weekend?
I'm good. So glad that the heat wave finally broke.
Yeah, that's yeah. Speaking of inflammation, inflammation can be heat, and we were in a altering environmental inflammation.
That is correct.
So yeah, just talking about inflammation and how it builds up in the system, acute inflammation versus chronic inflammation. And so when clients come to you as a massage therapist, what are things, or I guess, how do you feel inflammation in the body?
Well, before I can even put my hands on people, I can see whether or not they're inflamed because it presents itself physically. A lot of the people that come to me, and unfortunately, as professional practitioners, we try to we work with all kinds of people, and what happens is um, it it really just takes kind of your sight at first to see that there's inflammation going on. Quite often, it presents as either a distended abdominal area, weight gain or overweight. Unfortunately, if you are outside of regular saying overweight, they call that obesity. Um, so I do see quite a bit of that, and weight gain or obesity, overweight, it puts a strain on the body, and that causes pain, muscle tightness, tight fascia. So I am working with a range of things when people come in. But we have to understand here that inflammation really is the body's way, just as you were saying, that something is going wrong. And the body, I find myself telling people a lot, the body starts by giving you very subtle hints that something's wrong. And if you don't pay attention to that, the hints become less and less subtle. So that's when we seek out help, until we can get to a point where we can listen more closely to what the body is saying and then nip it in the bud and get on a healthier track. So that's where I'm seeing it. And it's unfortunate because the way the standard American diet is, which if you take the initials of that spell out SAD, it is sad that the traditional or standard American diet is really not clean, so to speak. We have just like we mentioned in the last live Instagram that we did, we have polluted air, polluted water, depleted soil, and this is where.
And
Go
for
ahead.
all those reasons, inflammation comes
That's
into the body.
exactly it, because
So
our bodies
it's
are
the
trying to
toxicity.
fight that.
And so when you say subtle,
Yes, that would include pain. It would include a bloated feeling or look. And it's ultimately what is happening is if we have a problem going to the bathroom, what I like to call is poor intestinal motility. And I have people give me kind of a quizzical look, and I say, do you have trouble going to the bathroom? Because I know we all don't really like to talk about the word poop, but honestly, it's the body's way of getting rid of the garbage that we don't need. We don't need everything that we put in our body. So our body takes what it is that we do need and it discards the rest. It throws it in the garbage, and the garbage is the bathroom. So that's, that's one way of.
why even as a
Sorry?
yeah, why it's okay. Why even as a massage therapist would you want to know about somebody's bowel movements?
Well, because if they have if their abdomen is distended, or they are telling me about issues with um, their eating, so to speak, or if they're feeling like they're feeling sluggish and they're not sure why, they're not getting enough sleep, and if I feel their skin is dry, I'll say to them, okay, are you getting enough water? Are you able to move your bowels? And if they're not able to, what's happening is, while everything is sitting in the body, there's like a reuptake process that happens. So while that fecal matter is sitting in your intestines, it's the body is doing a reuptake of whatever's in there, and that's slowly poisoning and putting stress on the body's processes, because it not only has to keep your brain functioning, your heart functioning, your liver functioning, all of these organs and processes have to be going. It has to clean out the cells. If the body is not offloading the garbage, it is getting poisoned slowly while it is trying to keep all systems a go. And that's a huge strain on the body's processes. We don't want to have to give it more that it has to battle, because it's already battling the environment, the food that has toxicities in it, the water that has toxicities in it, the air that has toxicities in it. We want to make it a very fluid process for the body.
So if you don't have a bowel movement, at least a good one every day, the actual poop sits in the system and the toxins can get reabsorbed in through the large intestine. And the higher your toxic load, the more inflammation you will have. It's like that, black and white. So
It's a vicious system, but it's very simple. That's correct. And a lot of people, well, it's so true.
because of the toxic load, like you talked about, that's constantly bombarding us, whether, even when we're trying to eat healthy.
Hmm. And a lot of people don't like the two words healthy food.
No, that's true. Not many people like crave broccoli.
Well,
But
let's put it
what?
this way.
Mhm.
I think that if there are healthy foods in general, and there are healthy foods for you in particular, meaning the person in particular. So, um, you know, if someone, I've said this to a number of people, healthy food is great and healthy things are great, but if you can't get it down, it's not going to help you. So finding that which will be healthy and that you can ingest, though that's the combination that you're looking for. You have to find that which is okay for your body. And that this is where muscle testing comes in, the nutrition response testing, because Dr. Armitstead can find out what your body likes and what it doesn't like by muscle testing. It's a binary way of looking at things, and I know binary is like a computer word, but it's an on-off process. The body either says yes or no. It's not a maybe with the body. It's either yes it does, no it doesn't, and we have levels of good, better, best. So
Yeah, because if I wake up one day and I'm like, oh, I want to try to eat healthier, and you Google like healthy foods, you get thousands of different answers. It's like
that's
this
right.
rabbit hole of like, what am I supposed to be doing? Anti-inflammatory diet, keto, paleo, less carbs, more carbs. What is a carb? Like it all gets really confusing really easily. So that is
So how do
exactly
we
right. Muscle
avoid the rabbit
testing,
hole? The rabbit hole of avoiding way is to get muscle tested, because
right.
it's just going to be like,
It's a
okay, this is the way that I need to do it for me. um Generalities, that's not what you're going to Dr. Armitstead for. You're going for what do you specifically need. It's tailored to you. So you don't care
yeah.
about what the rest of the world can eat. And the rest of the world does not mean that every single person in the rest of the world can do it except for you. It just means that you're actually putting yourself ahead of the game, because while many other people are following a standard American diet, you are doing what your body is asking to do.
Right. That's my only job is translate what the body's trying to tell you as the patient. And so muscle testing is a way to get the biofeedback from the body. There is no guessing. I literally know exactly what the body likes food-wise and the foods that it wants to stay away from. And it's not forever.
No,
It's just like your personalized, clinically designed nutrition program to help the body detox. And then as you heal, whether it may be from anything, headaches, eye pain, mouth pain, thyroid, nutrition always plays a part because no matter what, anything you put in your mouth makes a difference on whether or not your inflammation is going up or going down. The body is not stagnant. It's not like your inflammation, no matter what you do, stays at a level. It is constantly moving and processing inflammation. And our goal is to support the body with the right nutrition so the body can handle inflammation, so it can handle toxins. A healthy body, toxin in,
Mm-hmm.
toxin out.
That's right. And this is also determining
Yeah, absolutely. And that you made a
that's
great
so
point on
true.
listening to the,
So true.
yeah, listening to the body when it's trying to talk to you and it's like, oh, that little neck pain or, that little dry skin. Listen to the body then so it doesn't turn into a big thing. I love to help people on maintenance programs. It's like I see them a couple times a year to stay healthy. That's the plan. Preventative healthcare is the best healthcare. I mean, how many people, Joy, walk into your office like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good today? I mean, our goal really is maintenance, but it's hard to keep people maintaining health. They're always
It
like,
is very,
oh, I'm
very
dying.
hard.
Oh, my low back. Yeah, that's
It's
when people
very,
come
very
in.
hard because I think also probably what you find is the same, in which is that the choice is literally made every moment of the day that you have the opportunity to put food or beverage into your mouth. That's
Yeah,
when the choice is made, because if you are an adult, if you're a working adult who has the responsibility of making the grocery buying uh, choices, then
yeah,
that's where it starts, is what are you going to purchase that is going to help you be healthy and work well, have a good relationship with your body. We're going to call it friendly foods into your body,
yeah,
because no one likes to say health food, no one likes to say diet, because there's stigmas attached to that. And diet is really just what you're eating. It has nothing to do with elimination of foods and starving, so to speak. It's not really that. It's replacing the food which your body does not agree with something that
yeah,
your body will work better with or work well with. And that's your diet. This is your lifestyle that you're living. It's
yeah,
not. And when you're coming in for something going wrong, this is okay. What are the corrective measures that need to be taken temporarily to fix the issue? Once the corrective measures are taken for the amount of time that your specific body needs in order to heal the situation, then
mhm,
you can then determine, okay, this is how I need to eat on an ongoing basis. And for that way of eating, these are what my choices are. And usually it opens up a lot of different things that you really wouldn't have even thought about to have. It's actually broadening your choices instead of limiting them, because a lot of times we want to grab for that which is quick, or that which is going to taste good. Do you know how many times I go into the grocery store and I see chocolate covered everything? Health. I
mhm.
mean, it's supposed to be a protein bar, right? But it doesn't want us to taste of it, so to speak. So be healthy, or do we both? Food can be
Right,
our bliss, part of our bliss, if we're giving our body what it needs. Because nobody said that
absolutely.
that eating that eating junk food every once in a while is bad. But if your body is telling you absolutely positively not, you've got to listen, because if you don't, it's going to get louder and louder and louder. And then at one point, it's going to be like, okay, you're not listening to me. Now you're going to listen to me. It goes into crisis mode. You don't want that to happen, because the further down that road you are, sometimes the longer it takes to correct that, based on your commitment to getting it better and getting it back into a spot of homeostasis.
Absolutely. And if people only knew that, then they would listen when the body starts communicating. Yeah. And I swear to you, I keep going back to headaches, but if you have a headache, I swear to you, there's probably 6 or 7 other different organs that are struggling before you even feel the headache.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like. That's how inflammation works. The body is amazing. It's constantly always trying to adapt and adjust for other things. So if my stomach, I eat something off, my stomach, I don't usually just get a stomach pain. It's like my stomach is off, so then my liver has to work harder. If my liver's working harder, then my kidneys have to work harder. And then maybe I'll feel low back pain. So it's like, if you feel low back pain, listen right away. Don't keep eating junk. And all those organs then have to be handled. It's not just low back pain.
And it's not, maybe
so
it'll go away. It's your body's trying to tell you something, either that you have to look closer at the choices that you're making for what you're putting in your body, or you have to think about what it is that you can replace. It's about replacement, not so much elimination. It's about replacement, because a lot of people think, oh, they're taking that away from me. Now what am I going to have? In some extreme cases, yes, you do have to stay away from something or eliminate it for a little while. But if it's to make you better and it's temporary, most people can handle that.
And they start feeling better when they start making the changes. And right there, like, people are willing to, like, oh, okay, I really should do this. Oh, I drank alcohol and I felt like crap. Like, and it was only one drink. It wasn't like a hangover, but it was like, oh, Dr. Armitstead was right. My body really doesn't like alcohol. And then they start listening. Then it's almost like, in doing the muscle testing, it's like teaching them to listen to the body is secondary and starts happening because once I give them the guidelines, and it's great. And people, do start waking up and having a healthy relationship with their body that they never even knew was possible, because nobody teaches this stuff. It's not like they were a kid and their mother and father sat them down and explained it, or a teacher was like, oh, when you have a headache, this is what you do, So it's really eye-opening. And I really liked how you said, like, it's not about eliminating or restrictive, it's about replacement. And it's like, okay, instead of this, have this. And if you come to the office with an open mind, like, there's all these other foods and that you can try. And if you can take it as more of a creative process and getting healthy and a way of actually loving yourself, then people, can do it. But if you see all the limitations, all the restrictions, and you start freaking out inside, we can always baby step it. We can always, instead of, if the muscle testing shows 10 different lifestyle changes and it's just overwhelming and you're not finding it a creative process, you're finding it more stressful. And stress does cause inflammation. We'll get to that in a second. My goal isn't to cause more stress to you. And it's like, okay, so instead of 10 steps, can we do 2 steps? Can we do 3 steps? Okay, no, we can't. You're freaking out. Okay, let's do 1 step. And then if that patient, you get successful at that 1 step, then, oh, okay, what's the next step? And we work with people that way because everybody is different and everybody's in a different part of their life. They're like, oh, I can only handle 2 steps because the rest of my life is so crazy. And I'd rather work on somebody with 2 steps than not at all,
That's
so it's
exactly it.
Our goal as good healers is to meet people where they are and help them from there and not put all,
I
not put
I
all
want
these
to just
expectations.
mention this really quickly. There are degrees of of extreme. Okay. Well, no, I don't want to say it like that. There are degrees of problem. You have on the one end of the spectrum where there's no problem, and that's great, or minimal enough that the body can handle it without a problem. On the other end, you have extreme where it's crisis situation. So, for example, when we're talking about when we're talking about extreme measures, we're talking about, and just keep this in mind here. I don't know if anybody's seen the program My 600-Pound Life, but
No.
I'll tell you, I have seen it, and this is where people that are in the very high triple digits have to go to a bariatric surgeon because they are at crisis level, and they have to
Yeah.
have gastric bypass surgery done, and then they go from eating this terribly toxic menu of items to then they're literally eating broth and jello for a certain amount of
Wow.
time and having to recover from very major surgery, very major. So if you
Yeah.
think about it in terms of like that, the changes that you have to do at Dr. Armitstead's office are nothing like that. They're doable.
Right. Okay. Thanks for making me look good.
Yeah, absolutely. They're doable changes. You're not at super crisis mode here. You're at a mode where, you know what, your body can still handle some things. There's other things that it needs help with, which is why you're coming to Dr. Armitstead. And once you get that help, you're going to hopefully follow the recommendations that the body is asking you to implement, and Dr. Armitstead is telling you this is what your body is asking you to do, and it's saying please as nicely as it can without getting you really, really, really sick. So let's not get the body angry. We want the body happy with us, because when it's happy with us, we're healthy. When it's not happy with us, it's going to make sure that you know about it. And Dr. Armitstead is going to
Yeah.
translate.
Yes. And so besides, the toxicity of internally what we digest, the aluminum foil,
Oh,
the
yeah.
plastic, the crappy air, maybe the crappy water. And if we try to use less aluminum, less plastic, use more glass
Parchment
containers,
paper that's
and
unbleached. It's awesome.
yes,
Use it instead
yes,
of aluminum foil. It is so much better. You can cook with it. You can wrap it, wrap the food that you're going to have. You can put it in a toaster oven. You can make a little packet with it, and it's not killing you.
yeah, so instead of the plastic Ziploc bags, we have parchment paper baggies instead. And of course, sometimes strawberries leak through, but, for the best part, it's good for the environment. It's better for you. It's so important. Use more stainless steel glass containers, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so, besides our food that can cause inflammation, the other thing is stress. The emotional stress on the body is so important to manage if you want to reduce the inflammation. Those stress hormones go up, inflammation goes up. Like without a doubt, in a matter of seconds, right? In a stressful situation,
Mm-hmm.
the heart beating fast, the sweaty palms, can't think straight. I mean, your body gets stuck in that fight or flight. Inflammation is through the roof. And so any signs of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, I mean, all those are signs of inflammation in different parts of the body as well. So stress management is a big one. Do you see stress issues a lot too,
So
Joy?
much, so much I see it. And it's really, I've talked to people about better ways of trying to react to stress, and to, I mean, it's 10% of what comes at us and 90% our reaction to it. Most things aren't life-threatening issues that come at us. Most things are really irritants, and us feeling like we are either not in control of the situation and being upset about that, or upset that people aren't reacting in a way that we would. But we have to
Right.
understand that you don't have control over how anybody is going to react. You only have control over how you are going to react to a situation. And if that means removing yourself from a situation, or distracting yourself in a way that you can think of something that makes you laugh, or that makes you happy, to refocus your mind from the stress to something that is more soothing to the body, that helps as well. A lot of people will think, well, I do meditation, but if I don't do meditation, it's, how do I find the time? We're all trying to extract 48 hours out of a 24-hour day. The faster I find that the faster I move, the faster everything else moves. The slower that I go, things start to slow down. Sometimes it's a function of how quickly or how slowly we're moving. Sometimes it happens where it's something else is going on that we feel stressed about, that's not allowing us to move forward faster. But if you reframe the situation in such a way that says, okay, if I'm in traffic and I'm getting upset, which seems to be happening more and more, people have long commutes, people are in highly congested areas, and we're upset because traffic isn't moving as quickly as we wanted to, or we're running late or something. We're thinking about, what is making this person move so slowly? Well, we don't know what's going on in their world. We only know what's going on in ours, and we don't stop to think that, maybe I'm in this situation because it's preventing me from being in a situation that could possibly be harmful to me. Or maybe the person in front of me has an emergency going on. Maybe they're having an anxiety attack and going slowly because they're trying to operate a car and calm themselves down. Maybe they're lost. Maybe they're going through something very traumatic, and we don't know. That the possibilities are absolutely endless, but we have to find a way to divert our attention from that which is stressing us to something that will bring the stress down, to calm us.
Yeah. People don't realize that you can actually choose your
Yes.
thoughts. We think that they're like, you know, and it's about controlling our thoughts versus our thoughts controlling us. And if you should only really be thinking about something if you have control over it. So yeah, you don't have control over the person driving slowly in front of you. So you just got to take deep breaths. And instead of going down the rabbit hole of what is wrong with the person in front of me, or my boss is going to yell at me, or now this, or now this, and now that, and that rabbit hole of things that you don't have control over, it's like, oh, take this time and do some deep breathing. Or I instantly, when I need to stop myself from going down the rabbit hole, I think about my daughters. It's easy to think about, puts a smile on my face, even right now. And it's like, just go to your happy place, because there's nothing you can do about the person who's slow
That's
in
right.
front of you. So that's choosing thoughts. And that's a distraction. It works with my 4-year-old. It's like she's stomping her feet and she's upset because of something. And I'm just like, oh, how about this coloring book? And she's like, okay. It works. It works, and it should work for us. We just have to learn to distract ourselves. You can choose your thoughts. And so go to your happy place when you're going down a rabbit hole and there's so many things we can't control. Like you said, our reactions is what we do have control over. And we get mad because we want to be able to control other people. We want to control their reactions. We think we're only safe if our world looks a certain way. And it's just like, let all of that go, because we can't control. We have to learn to allow and accept and be in that flow so that it doesn't take a mental toll, it doesn't take a physical toll. Do you know how many people come into my office and I'm like, what's your stress level after I do the muscle testing? And I'm like, high, low, medium. And they're like, low, sometimes medium. And I'm like, no, it's not. Your body is so stressed out. I was like, maybe that's their coping mechanism,
can't even
like that's
accurately
their
gauge
distraction.
when you're stressed. That's the whole thing, because you are used to living at a high stress level that you can't even accurately gauge what your level of stress is, because you've been living on emergency mode for so long.
Yeah. And these people know they're not complaining about stress. Stress is not their chief complaint, but they're talking about their digestion. They're talking about their sleep. They're talking about inflammation, and and then I'm like, and then I have to talk to them. I'm like, hey, look, your stress level is taking a toll. And stress management, is a part of it. Whether it's to support the adrenal glands are the stress glands in the body, to control this, help the adrenal glands with the right nutrition, or if it is journaling or meditation or, deep breathing. There's so many different ways that sometimes I'm like, what do you want to do for better stress
your body
management?
will tell
Exercise,
you. Your
great
body
one.
will definitely
Yeah.
tell you. It's a matter of you being able to say, okay, well, I feel this way when I do this activity. And you have to, it's finding that which works well for you. And that's another thing that you can find out through muscle testing too, is what does your body consider to be play or restful or rejuvenating. You don't have to go through, well, what activities can I do, and stress over the mental list of what might be good. You could
Right.
say, tell Dr. Armitstead, I'm finding it difficult to find things that would work well for me. And if she says, name a few things that you think would be fun to do for your body or pleasurable. Yep. And each one you name, she's going to muscle test and say, your body likes this as a pleasurable activity. This is not considered a pleasurable activity for your body. And just go down the line. It'll tell you.
Yeah. No, sometimes people do need that guidance because they're out of touch. It's been so far. They haven't thought about it. It's like a whole new way of taking care of themselves. Right. And then when you do your massage work, like, how do you physically get the stress off the body? Are there certain things that you do?
Yes, it's actually a combination of actual manual work and talking with people and telling them, similar to what you're telling them, which is, how much water are you getting? What are you eating? How much sleep are you getting? So important that you get water, good clean food, and sleep. Because your body needs time to repair, rebuild, rejuvenate. Water, because we're 70% water and you need to have it flowing. I'm always giving them the sink full of dirty dishes analogy, which is, imagine that your body is like inside you have a sink full of dirty dishes, and when you're starting with clean soapy water, and as you're washing the dishes in that basin, the water is getting dirtier and dirtier. The only way to clean the water is to dump the dirty water, aka go to the bathroom, and then refill it with clean water, drink water. And that works for a lot of people, that analogy. When I tell them, we all should all be striving for half our body weight in ounces per day. And they're like, wow, that's a lot of water. I'm not nearly getting that. And I tell them, well, yeah, your body needs it. The brain needs it to be functioning. You've got to clean out your cells. You need to be able to be moving your bowels. I mean, we are.
Yeah, number one reason for headache is dehydration. Number one reason for muscle cramps, dehydration. Like, people don't understand how important water is. I'm like, they're like, I
It
don't feel
doesn't
like drinking water. I'm like, I
matter
don't
if you
care.
don't feel like
It's not,
drinking
it's
water.
not a feeling. It's just a doing. And there are free apps now that you can set, and it's a timer, and it'll remind you to drink water. It'll keep track for you. Because if I'm guessing, I'm like, at least drink your 64 ounces of water. Like, let's just literally start counting. Let's become aware. And that's what it's all about. Your patients and my patients, it's like, how do we bring awareness to what they're doing? Because, and having a relationship with their body, because you're making hundreds of choices a day on how you're affecting your body that you're not even aware of. That it's our job as healers just to bring the awareness up, start looking at the aluminum, how much water they're drinking, what they're putting in their mouth, what time are they actually going to bed. Being responsible for your health will lower the inflammation, because it lowers the toxicity, it lowers the stress in the body. And, it's just an alternative way. Well, it's not alternative. It should be mainstream.
Yes,
but
it's
it's
the correct
completely
way
different
of helping your
Yes.
body. This is not an issue of why do you think white bread looks so good? It's because it's fluffy and it tastes good and it's all this wonderful stuff. But guess what? It's devoid of things that are good for us. It's naked bread, so to speak. It doesn't have the wholeness that we started with a very long time ago, because we have 9 billion people plus on this planet, and they're trying to feed everybody. And so in order to do that profitably and quickly, they have to cut corners. The more that you cut corners, the more your body has got to find the nutrition in what it is that you're putting into it. So boxed and bagged foods, do you see that growing on a tree? No, you don't. Do you see it grazing? No, you don't. So pretty much when they tell you, if you're eating something boxed or bagged, if it's a laundry list of ingredients on the back of the box or the bag, and some of them you can't pronounce or don't know where they come from, that means it's really not going to be natural for your body. And we are here to help you. We're not here to tell you that we're not here to tell you that oh, you should be eating this particular product or that particular product. It's more, we're trying to get you back to homeostasis so that you can be healthier, and then get onto some type of maintenance schedule, so that you're not in crisis mode. Surviving in crisis mode is not living, it is surviving. You're just surviving doing that.
Yeah, and so that's why all these other pieces have to come in together, so that, everybody deserves to live their healthiest life. That's my drive in my business, and what wakes me up and gets me to the office every single day. I truly believe everybody deserves that. In deserving it, they have to take responsibility for their own health, and we are here to
willingness
help.
and commitment.
It's not just about massaging. Yeah. And not everybody's willing or ready, and that's okay too. And I always say the door is always open. I had one client that told me, like, look, I can't do this anymore. It's totally stressing me out. And even though I pulled back and I was like, what baby step can you do? And she's just like, I can't. And I'm just like, okay, the door is always open. And it broke my heart. I was like, oh my God, she needs my help more than anybody.
And there isn't anything you can do about that, unfortunately. Well, you as the professional can't do anything about it, because it has to be the person that makes that decision. And you don't want to get into a palliative care situation. You don't want that. You want to be able to fix it.
That's not real healing. Yeah, it's not real healing. We are here, you and I are here to hold space and to help people help themselves. That's true healing. And there are so many tools and so many things that you can do, it can be overwhelming. But that's why we're here, so that we can step by step help you through the healing journey. And part of it is just becoming awake and aware of all the different choices that you make in your life, and learning to have a relationship with your body, and to realize, to listen when the small, when your body starts talking quietly, and the small aches and pains, or the small, and listen and take care of it then, because it just takes a lot longer later in life.
So true, so true. And for those who, I don't really know very many people who have family histories where someone along the line did not have some type of chronic issue going on. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the chronic issue will become your chronic issue. It just means that this is what has happened in your family tree, but you could be the point of where that chain breaks.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to manifest with you as well. You can be the one that changes that for yourself, and then helping set a better stage for the generations going forward if you're having children. And even if you're not necessarily bearing the children yourself, for people, the children that you adopt, very similar case, because it's what you're doing from now going forward, which once you're made aware of, okay, this is the background that I came into the world with, so what can I do to help manifest better health and not have the genetic expression of things that happened back in my family tree? Because if it's something bad, we don't want genetic expression of that. We want genetic expression of health. And we can choose that in very many ways by how we process stress and what we eat, like what we ingest.
We can set examples now for our kids. Yeah, absolutely. I just got back from summer vacation. We went to Paris, and the first thing my daughter ate the morning we were back was a salad for breakfast.
Nice.
And
take a picture of it.
I should have totally documented it. I was like, she made it for herself. She's 14.
Nice.
So it's like, she didn't even ask for me to make it. That's how much her body was done with the, vacation extravaganza. And I explained that to my 4-year-old. I was like, this is vacation time. This is not real life time. Everything in moderation. I'm not going to go to Paris and not have a croissant. That's just what it is. And I won't tell my patients that either, because that would be totally hypocritical. But it is. The moment we got back, we were right back to our usual healthy routine. And it was so amazing to watch even my 14-year-old miss her healthy routine. I wish that reading food labels was like part of school, like really made it real. Like, what is what is all of this even mean?
And so what does it do to your body?
No, I wish it was really understood in health class, make the relationship with the body starting then.
We know.
But you can only,
I don't mean to interrupt.
You can only live by example.
But that's so true, because it's like, if you're, I remember a time having regular whole milk and then feeling very weighted down and tired after that, and also feeling like, I was feeling the different feelings in my body, but I didn't know of an alternate way to do things. I just knew that when I had it, this is how I felt. And it got to the point of where I'd have a cereal that wasn't quite right for me, and I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't know how to change it until I finally had to go and find a practitioner that would help me make better choices, because my body was telling me through sensations, this is not good for you. And some of those sensations would be a feeling of heaviness, cold extremities, so poor circulation, uh, jitteriness, like if I had something with a caffeine in it, which doesn't even necessarily need to be coffee. It could be something else like chocolate.
Right. A lot of people get bloated.
Acne.
And they feel tired after they eat. They just don't feel good, like you said. I'm like, right there, the body's telling you, I don't like this.
And it's like, people will be like, oh, this looks so good. If you're at a wedding or you're at a, reunion or some kind of function, you're like, oh my gosh, all this looks so good. You can't, your stomach is probably only about, I would say maybe, what is it? The size of your fist? Is it that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to chew the food to break it down to get it smaller before it gets into your stomach. And why do we chew the food? So that it's not a huge burden on the stomach to break it down even further and get it into the small intestine, which is where the actual digestion is going to take place. Everything is a way of helping the body exert the least amount of energy to break the food down and get it disseminated to the body as soon as it can, to give us energy, nutrients, all of that good stuff. The more that you put something in your body that's either not chewed properly or not in a form that is natural to the body, the more work it has to do and the more tired you become.
Absolutely.
So it's telling
Absolutely.
you just have to listen, and you have to get to a point of where you're like, okay, and we're not saying go cold turkey. For some people that works. For some people it's a slower process. It is baby steps, and you don't have to necessarily go cold turkey. You can back it, step it down a little bit, and look at it as you're doing something nice for yourself. You're not being mean to yourself. You're caring about yourself. You're giving your body what it is asking for. It's saying, please stop putting garbage in me that I have to try and find any nutritional value possible in. I know this Snickers bar tastes good, but I have to really look at it and see what in here you can use, and the rest is going right out. So if you don't mind throwing your money into the garbage, then literally it's going to either go in the actual circular file, or it's going to go into the bathroom garbage, if you know what I mean. So we want to make sure that the money that we work for is helping us, and we're making good, healthy choices for ourselves, giving our body what it wants, because it will tell you when it doesn't want it, and it'll either tell you, this is really not for me, or it's going to tell you in another way that feels even worse, and you don't want that. You really don't want that.
Well, thank you for taking the time today to talk to us about inflammation. Oh, absolutely. And all the different things that can cause inflammation, going back to the basics, having that relationship with your own body, listening when it tries to talk.
I have a question. I have a question, Dr. Armitstead. Do you have any challenges for the people that are on today watching us? Do you have anything that you may want them to give a try, and see how far they've come? Because I know last time you had a challenge and that worked out pretty well. So is there something this time?
Yeah, I mean, if I was to say, okay, after listening to all of this, what's the one takeaway? What's the one challenge? Is like, okay, let's make sure we're drinking enough water, especially with the heat that we've been having.
Gosh, yes.
If you drink at least 64 ounces, 2 liters of water a day, and you're still like, I'm still thirsty, I'm still like not quenched, you might want to look at electrolytes.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. to replace the minerals, to replace all the salts that you've sweated out and you've lost through the day. And then the next challenge is actually the next time you have the littlest ache and pain, ask yourself, what do I need to do better? Or what do I think this
What is it
is,
from?
in order. Yeah, I challenge you all to listen when your body's trying to talk to you. Listen to the quiet voice. Don't ignore the aches and pains. Don't ignore, the crappy sleep, and, do something
That's right.
about it.
I mean, just one quick example before we go, and that is that if anybody saw the movie G.I. Jane, when
Yeah.
she was in the water with all of the rest of the people that were doing these physically challenging exercises, um, the man that was guiding all of this was saying, pain is your friend. It's there to tell you something. And the body, in not such extreme examples, but the body is telling you by either pain of some sort or not feeling good of some sort, something is wrong. You're alive, but something is wrong, and it wants you to pay attention to it. And that's where I'm getting at with that example, is that your body is giving you information, and it's up to you to listen to it and to also see what happens when you don't listen to it. But definitely you want to
Yeah.
nip it in the bud as soon as possible, because who wants to deal with poor after effects of 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 a lifestyle choice that is not serving you in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do like the paradigm shift of pain being your friend, of actually listening to the body, and not ignoring it, not thinking that it'll go away, and taking responsibility for your
That's
health.
right.
Have a good
Thanks, you
afternoon.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.